Hello, my beautiful creatives, and welcome back to my art channel. My name is Chrissie B, and I'm a creativity coach, hoping to inspire you to live a more creative life every day. Now, you may know, if you've watched my channel, you'll know that I keep a travel notebook, and I keep it for all sorts of different kinds of things. But the thing I'd like to do today is something that I've said I was going to do a long time ago, and I have not done it. Why? I don't know, but I'm going to do it today. So that is, we did a travel notebook cover out of art canvas, and we came up with this little guy, okay? Now, we have a whole bunch of leftover canvas from that project, and I really want to create a bookmark that will then go with this book, because even though it's like a little more than halfway done, I'd like to be able to know where I'm at in this without having to use paper clip. I have this little to-do thingy here, but I'd rather have like a bookmark. So I do have one bookmark here, and I have it inside of my my actual art journal in here, and it was a scrap of this canvas that I had left over. So I want to do the same thing, but with this canvas, so that way it doesn't go to waste. Now, to do that, I'm just using the scrap that we had from before, and I'm going to kind of take a look at this bookmark because I like the size of it. Now, when I created this first bookmark, if I remember correctly, I just took a ruler and used a ruler as my width. So the exact size of the ruler was the width, and then I just cut it down to the size I wanted. So I'm going to do the exact same thing here, but I kind of want to think about which part of this canvas do I like for my bookmark. And I'll have enough here to do multiple bookmarks, so that'll be fun. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start cutting this into strips, and I'm going to use my cutter here for that, just to save, to save myself a little bit of work. And to do that, because I don't want a specific piece, I don't think, I'm going to start by just cutting these two halves apart from each other. So I'm dealing with two straight pieces. My rationale for that is that will then make it easier to cut as many bookmarks out of this as possible. And I'm not going to worry about length at the moment. I'm just going to worry about the width. And if I look, just want to make sure that my measurement in my head is correct. It is about 1.5 inches. Nope. 1 1/4 inch. So I'm going to start here, and I have a little knobby piece here I just want to trim off real quick. Now I love this cutter because it's got the precision wire on it, so you can tell exactly where your cut is going to be made. That's really helpful for me because I'm very bad at doing straight cuts. So that's 1 1/4, so that's one, could potentially be one bookmark. We have enough to do another bookmark. Okay, and then these little scrap pieces, I'm going to just toss it. I don't know what I would use them for, but as a mixed media artist, you have a tendency to save everything. So I'm trying hard to be more purposeful in my everything saves. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this one up a little bit because it is a little wonkified. Probably because when I cut this, I cut it using my own scissors, cut it with scissors. There we go. There, now we got more of a straight edge on there. Now, if your canvas frays a little bit, like mine has, just a little bit, that's fine. Just take your scissors and kind of like just cut the little threads off. If you want to leave them, that's fine too. They don't really hurt anything. But now I'm ready to cut my widths at 1 1/4 inch. And I'm going to line this up along this edge versus trying to make sure my this end is butted up against my guardrail, because I know that the canvas is not necessarily straight. Okay, let's even get one more out of there. We'll see. Oops. Is that 1? Yep, 1 1/4. Just want to make sure my measurement was straight. Measure twice, cut once. Okay. this little guy, we'll go ahead and toss that. We have got 4 strips now at 1 1/4 width each inches. Okay, and I like the size of this one because it fits my travel notebook rather well. Let me grab that again and I'll show you. So let's go to a page I haven't done yet. So here is how that looks inside of my travel notebook. I think it gives me just enough that it doesn't feel too obnoxious. I think if it went all the way down, it would feel a little bit long. So I'm going to do another measurement. And I'm trying to get better at like being purposeful on how I measure things. And it looks like it's about 7.5 inches. So let me do a measurement here. I'm going to decide that if any of it gets cut off, it'll be this little white end down here. The side that doesn't really have paint on it, like the raw edge of the canvas. We'll just cut that little piece off, and you can save this and do something with it, or you can toss it. I don't know if it's too special. So there's one bookmark. And I'm gonna do the same thing a few more times because I have lots of extras. Doesn't really matter. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my hole punch, and I'm just gonna punch a hole at the top center of each bookmark. Now, when I do this, I want to make sure I come in a little ways. And there's no sides to this. We're just going to kind of eyeball it and punch. Okay. So that's what that looks like. And then you're able to thread ribbon or twine. I think we'll use twine today, probably. And since that one turned out so well, sometimes I'll do this. I'll line up 2 together and use the hole from the first one as a template for the hole for the second one. So you'll just do that to all 4 of your bookmarks, or however many bookmarks you decide to make. I'm only going to use 1, so I'm going to just pull 1. And I think I'm going to do the second one I've hole punched. Okay. So to do this top here on this bookmark, I'm going to use some black and white twine. I'm going to use some inexpensive black ribbon. And I'm going to use a scrap of black lace that I just happen to have in my stash. And I think it's a really dark blue, actually. And I'm going to cut some twine, probably 2 lengths, the same length as the lace. Because I don't want the tail at the top to be too long, because I don't want this hanging too far out of my travel notebook. I always worry that I'm going to have it too long and it'll snag on something, and it will pull my bookmark out and I will lose the bookmark. So instead of that, I'm going to just try to keep it simple. And I'm going to do this one a little long, just because the tape that they use to keep the ribbon down left a really bad stickiness to it. So put those out of the way over there. And then all we're going to do is we're going to stack all of these together, trying to get them lined up together so they're even, Steven on both sides. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you can trim it after you're done. And I'm just going to find center. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, now which way do I do this? I can't ever remember. I'm going to push the center through the hole and try to fish all the little pieces out so that all of the ribbon and string come through the hole. And then make sure that my finger is through the loop of all of it, so you don't want to miss any of that. And then pull a little further than I think I might need it. But what I'm going to do is put my finger through the hole, grab the tail of all of the strings and lace, and I'm going to pull it through. And that is it. All I'm going to do is just kind of tighten them up by taking each individual fiber or string or whatever and pulling that through. And then I will go through and just kind of trim my pieces up because I feel like they're a little bit long. But I don't want to make this difficult. So I'm going to just take it and trim at different angles. You can do them straight across if you want to. I kind of want mine to be a back and forth kind of motion. So it looks like it's got little tails or something. So kind of like that. Just toss all these little guys here. And now we have a new bookmark for our travel notebook. And the cool thing about this is that it matches our travel notebook insert that we had created earlier. So now I can take this little guy off. And the reason I don't like this little guy, I mean, this little guy's kind of cool actually, but the reason I don't like it is I have a hard time kind of finding it because there's so many books in here that I can't really feel it. Like even the paper clip, I've got a paper clip here. It doesn't work so very well. Anyways, put you back where you belong. And now, there you have it. You now have a new bookmark for your travel notebook. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was just a fun way to use some of your extra canvas up in some interesting ways, especially when you end up with like these wonky, weird shape pieces. So if you have any comments, questions, please let me know down in the comment section. I'm always happy to be of assistance. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and share with your friends in case they might like to see this video. And until next time, bye for now.